Japan seems to be the new hotspot for rock and metal music. And in recent years they've taken these genres by storm, pumping out high quality music like there is no tomorrow. So in this episode we'll hear the first 5 bands that I think are the best Japanese rock and metal acts today. You will hear familiar bands, but probably also discover bands you didn't know existed. And stay tuned because there will be a part 2. But let's dive in. We're starting off with Band-Maid. Pretty familiar name, and it's a band that many people bring up in their comments to my new bands videos. And their sound is known for precision, complexity, and a huge sense of power. Check this out. Band-Maid mixes aggressive hard rock and heavy metal with the visual contrast of the Maid Cafe theme, and they refer to their male fans as masters, their female fans as princesses, and their concerts as servings. So the shock factor definitely pulls you in, but it's the music that keeps you there. So they've been compared to bands like Hailstorm and The Warning and even Judas Priest I've seen somewhere, but I think if you just like hard rock, heavy metal and riff-driven music, you will like Band-Maid. The next band jumps from a soft melody to a full-blown war cry in a heartbeat. Nemophila were formed in 2019 and they've already had 4 albums out. The latest one, Apple of My Eye, came out in January 2025. In my personal opinion, Nemophila hit harder than most other modern Japanese bands. Their way of playing is extremely tight, and their vocalist Mayu, she shifts from soft and emotional to a full blast in a split second. So I think if you like bands like Slipknot, even Spirit Box, you definitely want to check out Nemophila. So I'll put a link to all the bands in this video in the first comment below, but I'll also drop a link to a radio show that plays only new Japanese rock and metal every 2 weeks. This next band is doing something a little bit more classic, a little bit more American, and a little bit more rock and roll. The Stereogang play punchy hard rock that feels like it came straight from an American muscle car commercial. They were formed in 2021 and they've already put out 2 full albums. The last one, the Stereogang 2, came out early in 2025. With this band you can't really tell that it's Japanese as such. There is no J-pop influence, just riffs, swagger and youthful energy. Stereogang have been compared to icons like KISS and Mötley Crüe, so I think if you just like this kind of glam metal, hard rock, straightforward fun, you're definitely gonna like the Stereogang. The next band brings ancient legends, epic melodies and the steel of the samurai warrior. Ryujin call themselves samurai metal. They were founded in 2009, but then under a different name called GYZE. They rebranded as Ryujin and then released their self-titled album in 2024. And that album was actually produced by Matthew Heafy from Trivium. So this mixes melodic death metal, thrash, fast power metal with these traditional Japanese instruments and melodies that really sets them apart from almost anyone else on the scene. So if you like melodic death metal, power metal or some folk-infused heaviness, you're definitely gonna like this band. But do you know what I like? I like it when people like my videos and subscribe to my channel. But we're going headfirst into neon explosions, sugar-coated chaos and one of the wildest mixes in metal. Before we get into that band, I often get the question, where do I find all these bands? And a lot of it comes from you guys in the comments to my videos. But I also run this playlist on Spotify called New Metal Rock Weekly. And every Friday, that playlist gets updated with all new metal rock from that week. And there is stuff on there you won't find on any other playlist. There is a link in the first comment below. But back to the bands. Hanabie were formed in 2015 and became the leaders of what they call Harajuku-core, They blend metalcore, hyperpop, electronic dance music, and bright, colorful visuals. Their latest album, Reborn Superstar, came out in 2023. Hanabie are probably the most crossover heavy acts in Japan, and their live shows are chaotic in the best possible way. And their singer, she delivers both these adorable melodies and then these absolutely filthy screams. So they've been compared to BABYMETAL for their kind of crossover pop image. And then there is this band Enter Shikari that has this electronic chaos with massive breakdowns. I think there is a little bit of that in here as well. So drop me new bands in the comments below and stay tuned for part 2 about Japan. And then up here is a video with 5 new bands keeping classic heavy metal alive.